I think it's interesting.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. An interesting deal.
I think it's quite an interesting.
Interessante Sache. It's a very interesting one.
It'll be interesting to see.
Interesting one. It will be interesting to follow.
I think it's two very sad, lame ducks getting together to try and do something useful in mobile, and they're about 5 years too late.
I'm not sure. I think that maybe Nokia should explore other options as well.
It was inevitable Nokia had to do something. I think that they'd sort of not done very much for too long and kind of meandered along without having a really decent strategy, so they had to do something, and I think Nokia probably makes sense for both of them.
It creates another sort of big alliance in the industry, so another platform. I think Microsoft needed a boost, and I think Nokia is obviously the biggest manufacturer in the world, so it gives them a good boost. So good competition.
I think this is going to make a major change in the industry, and I think that this is going to be combining synergies between the strength of Nokia as a key leader in the handsets manufacturing, addressing all the different segments, and Microsoft from an innovation. And I think this is going to bring additional competition to what's going on Apple's side. We look forward for the future to make some remarkable changes in this relationship. I mean, I'm very optimistic about it in a nutshell.
They are now leaving Symbian behind, so and at the same time they're not following the mainstream with Android.
I think the key thing for me is how Apple is going to respond. I think we might see another surgence in that space. So it's going to be interesting to see how this relationship pans out. Obviously it's a big impact to Nokia and his employees, so there could be a lot of other repercussions that may occur before they settle down.
I think it's going to be really hard for Nokia employees because they're already talking about laying off 6,000 people at Nokia. I think it's a difficult decision. I'm not sure it's the right thing for the market or the consumer or Nokia itself.
I'm actually quite excited about it because Nokia is such a big brand, and Microsoft, the operating system, even though it's had many issues, I think they have made improvements, and I think it makes sense.
I think there's a lot of jokes going around that, now you look at Nokia and they have 3 major operating systems, and they really don't have, for the developer anyway, a common thread so that you could develop on all 3 platforms using like Qt.
Oh, well, actually, look like not so positive.
Oh, because?
Well, I mean, actually both companies are losing a share at the moment. So that's why it looks like not so, how shall I say, very bright future joining.
Entweder es wird für beide sehr gut oder beide fallen ins Wasser.
Especially for Nokia, I think it was good for them to align with Microsoft because of where their market share was heading, and it's probably going to help them long term.
They're struggling now, so I hope they get better now, but they don't.
Ich sehe vor allem ein Problem, wie Nokia sich differenzieren will. Es gibt so viele Hardware-Anbieter, die gute Phone 7 Geräte herstellen.
I think it's probably a very, very challenging task for 2 big companies like Nokia and Microsoft to, let's say, join forces and be as fast as a kind of open system like Android.
That's a good idea for the market, having 3 players at the end.
Which 3 players?
Apple, Windows probably, and Android certainly.
I guess it just depends on what angle you take for it. If it's going to be a positive or it's going to be a negative, we'll see how it affects the whole mobile community. So I think it's a positive. I think it's good.
Ich freue mich für Nokia, dass sie jetzt den richtigen Schritt gemacht haben, weil gerade mit Symbian haben sie in den letzten Jahren auf so eine Plattform gesetzt oder zunehmend erkannt, dass es da nicht mehr viel weitergeht. Migo ist bis jetzt nicht richtig auf die Straße gekommen, und es war abzusehen, dass sie auf eine neue Plattform setzen müssen. Dass sie so schnell auf Windows gehen, das hat mich ein bisschen überrascht. Ich dachte, das dauert noch 1-2 Jahre. Ich finde es aber wirklich großartig, weil damit hat Nokia wieder eine Chance, in den Smartphone-Bereich reinzukommen.
I hoped Nokia did it earlier. because I worked a lot with Nokia 10 years ago, and it was one of the best suppliers in the world. It's crazy to see how it decreased during the last 10 years. So you need to react, but unfortunately, I think it's too late.
I think that it's obviously probably making a lot of sense, and somebody had to make a decision because it was only going to get worse and worse. So I think that the decision can only end in positive nature for Nokia. Nokia desperately need an operating system and software, and Microsoft need a manufacturer of handsets. And I think that if they stick to what they're both good at, then it should be a good deal.
We don't know yet. So, but I think it's good for industry. It's one more standard.
Ja, ich habe gehört, dass es einen Brief an die Mitarbeiter gegeben hat, so mit dem Bild, ich stehe auf einer Ölplattform, hinter mir brennt die Plattform, ich kann jetzt da runterhüpfen, 40 Meter ins kalte Wasser und nach 4 Minuten den Eistod sterben. Und dann hat es anscheinend einen Hubschrauber gegeben, der ist dann aus Amerika gekommen und hat irgendwie diesen CEO gerettet. Und ich hoffe, dass es keine Koalition der Verlierer gibt, die irgendwie verbrennen oder erfrieren, sondern dass es gemeinsam eine Lösung gibt, dass wieder neue Kraft entstehen kann und neue Energie für die Zukunft dieser zwei Konzerne.
In the last opportunity that I had to spend some time with them, I know that they were very much looking at how they could create more of an open network development that wasn't necessarily being managed too much by, one party of interest, but was a little bit more open to that. So I'm not sure why they went to a Microsoft more of a closed system at this point.
It's certainly got a lot of potential behind it if the two companies can cooperate, but it does lead you to question what's going to happen with Migo. It's you can't help but wonder if Nokia is not going to become just another HTC. I suppose we're going to hear some more details about what their relationship with Microsoft really is, and how much they're going to be able to customize the OS. But right now, it looks like a HTC deal, and I don't see Migo going anywhere. I'm just wondering what Intel's going to do to try and prop that up.
I think it might be too little too late. Yeah, I think Nokia especially has been a bit slow on the uptake with certain developments. Although Stephen Elop, he seems like he has some very interesting ideas. And today, he was talking about all the stuff that they want to do for the developing world and stuff. So I hope they actually follow through with it, and hopefully that partnership will help with that as well.